Play.
Hello and welcome back to another Talking Tennis stream on the first day of the 2024 US Open. Today you're joining us for the first round match between Madison Keys and Kateřina Siniaková that's just got underway. I believe at some point I'll be joined by Damien, but for now it's just me watching this match and hopefully covering it for you all to enjoy. Siniakova serving in this first game at 40 love. It's an interesting one, this. I mean, obviously, Keys is a former finalist here. He was so close to reaching the final last year at Sabalenka. But it's not been so straightforward for her in recent months, retired at Wimbledon, has only played one match since then in Canada, and also retired due to a leg problem. So it'll be interesting to see if she can overcome those injuries and if she's feeling fresh. But Siniakova's not particularly a nice draw for anyone in the first round. I mean, a fantastic doubles player, possibly the best doubles player in the world, and always a challenging singles player. So yeah, it would not have been a welcome draw for Keys, I'm sure. But she's about to start her first service game at 1-love down, and we'll see how this match goes. I mean, Keys is the 14th seed, and obviously got a lot of points to defend from reaching the semi-finals last year. Just people coming into the chat. Hi, sport and politics. Hope you're okay. Keys still yet to get a point on the board. Backhand to the net there after a deep return from Siniakova. I mean, how's everyone finding the US Open so far? Obviously, early days, but it's been some decent matches. Not too many surprises yet, I wouldn't say. But some points of note. Obviously, Teams played his final ever Grand Slam match, final match of the US Open. Straight sets to defeat to Ben Shelton. You've had Maria Sakkari losing in the first round. Well, she retired in the first round, and it's another poor showing at a Grand Slam. Obviously, this time is a bit more out of her control due to a shoulder problem, but Keys really needs to get on the board here. And she does. Siniakova putting a backhand wide into the tram lines. Yeah, sport and politics showing his sadness at Sakkari's injury. Yeah, it's been a rough year. I mean, still in the top 10, but it's not been a fun year for the Greek. If they haven't frozen too much then. I mean, Keys does have some strapping on that leg, but she doesn't seem too restricted by her movement so far as she gets it back to 30 all. Sorry, 40-30, and now it's game, and she's on the board a game apiece. Hi, Ashley. Thanks for joining us. I'm kind of intrigued to know if anyone wants to put their neck on the line in the chat and say if they've got anyone, a surprise winner, a surprise finalist, if they've done any predictions, if they've got a dark horse. Anyone can stick the neck out of the line and have a dark horse? I mean, I don't think it's a particularly bold shot, but I've got Paula Badosa going quite deep, and she's just got her first round win quite comfortably over Victoria Golubic. Sport and politics has gone for Keys in this match, but it does feel right. Yeah. I personally went for Siniakova, but I think it could go either way. I think my pick was more based off Keys' recent injuries. Ashley, I think it could be really close. Yeah, it definitely could be. I mean, Keys has got a big serve, and I think she'll rely on that. But Siniakova is definitely a gritty player and really fights. The producer said about Osaka being a dark horse. I mean, I think with her first round draw, she kind of has to be a bit of a dark horse. She's a wild card. She's got Ostapenko first round, so yeah, the it's kind of stacking against her a bit, but she obviously does have a lot of pedigree at this tournament as a two-time champion. Actually, recommended people to watch Joint. Maya Joint, I believe the Australian. I know she was winning because she beat Laura Siegmund. I don't know if anyone could update me. I should probably get some of the scores up. Bolter, I think Ashley thinking Bolter's going to have a deep run. I know she's in the same section as Pagula, so that could be tricky, but she has beaten Pagula before, also in the same section as Raducanu. Siniakova at 30-15 in her second service game. Now at 30 all. Oh no, Laura Siegmund has fought back, as someone mentioned my joint, but my joint still only one game away, but it's at juice currently, so yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you do see a lot of new names. Obviously, qualifiers are always a threat, as particularly Emma Raducanu showed a few years ago, having some matches on the surface previously. And Siniakova hits a nice forehand there to fend off the first break point for Keys, and now we're at juice. I mean, it's not in the women's draw, but I've also got Matteo Arnaldi going quite deep. He's in quite an open section. I think it's the same section as Dimonor, and a lot of people are not sure how to predict Dimonor really with his recent injury struggles, and he's got a tough first round against Marcus Sharon, but he could come out flying. But I've not gone too big on Dimonor at this tournament, despite it being such a good year for the Australian. And Ashley, uh, Adam Walton, he's put a bit on Adam Walton. Yeah, the Australian, he's had a decent year also. And Siniakova does come through that game despite facing a breakpoint opportunity for Keys. 2-1, Siniakova on serve. I mean, I think for me, I think this could be a good match. The main thing I'm hoping for is Keys to come through unscathed regardless of the outcome, given that Keys has only played one match since Wimbledon, where she retired, and has also retired in Toronto due to her leg issues. Obviously, this has probably been one of her most successful tournaments. Been in the final, was very close to reaching the final last year, so she's always going to be a threat. It's just fitness providing, and yeah. Actually saying about Chris Eubanks could be a shock. I mean, yeah, it's been a tough ride for Chris Eubanks since he reached the quarterfinals of Wimbledon, but he's a wild card and had I think, a decent week in Winston Salem. So yeah, this I believe that in the men's draw, there's the first seed to go today was Alexander Bublik against the very talented Chinese player Zhengcheng Shang, Jerry Shang as many call him. We've also got Apelka and Massetti currently in a tiebreak. I mean, it's kind of no surprise to see Apelka in a tiebreak given his serving prowess. How many, Actually asking how many games does Novak go tonight? I mean, just to refresh my memory on who he's playing, because I know Alcaraz is playing League 2. Djokovic is playing Radu Albot, of course, yes. I think, I mean, Radu Albot's not, I don't think he'll win a set, but I don't think he's not someone who's going to get pushed over. I could see it being a close first close-ish first set, and then Djokovic sort of coming through more comfortably. I mean, it is Djokovic's first match since the Olympics, so it might take him a bit of time to get back into it. I mean, Radulov, actually asking what do I know about him? He's been around for a while. I don't know quite how old he is, but he's obviously from Moldova, which is it's obviously not a nation you see very often um, in tennis. He is he's 34, so he's he used to be in the top 40, and he has a career title that came in Turkey nearly 10 years ago. Has he won Grand Slam matches? Yes, he believes. Yeah, he's won quite a few. He's actually. Let me just have a quick look. He's been in the third round of a couple slams, including here back in 2017. But obviously never. I think Djokovic is just another level, and he's going to be so confident after his Olympic title win. A double fault there from Keys, but she's still got another game point opportunity. 40-30. It's kind of interesting, Djokovic. I mean, you could argue that he's had the best result possibly of his career at the Olympics. He said that it's one of the biggest of his career, definitely of the season. Will he be full of confidence going into this, or will he have almost built up so much to that moment of winning the Olympic gold, and now it's kind of what else can he do? But it's Djokovic, and there's always another milestone. It's the 25th Grand Slam on the line for him. He could become the first man to defend the US Open singles title since Roger Federer in 2008, I believe. And we're at juice now as Keys reaches for that, slices it. Siniakova going for the lob, but Keys swats it away with a nice smash there. I mean, Keys doesn't seem too hampered movement-wise yet. I mean, she moved quite well in that point. Obviously, she's against a player who's got good movement, very good at the net. Just wide there from Keys. But she gets the second serve in, and Siniakova's long, so we're at 2-all. Been a fairly there's been one breakpoint chance for Keys, but it's been fairly routine so far. Actually, I think it's going to be 6-4 Keys. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a one-sided set, at least this first one. I mean, it's not. They do look both a little bit cagey. Siniakova can be a bit wild, but at the same time, she can also play some fantastic tennis. And I think so far it's just, it's the first round of a slam. There's always going to be nerves, and particularly for Keys, it's a home major. Siniakova, and surprisingly playing doubles as well with Taylor Townsend, who she also won Wimbledon with. I mean, it does kind of feel like Siniakova could play with anyone and win a Grand Slam. I reckon maybe even she could pick me, and maybe we'd go on to win the mixed doubles. Who knows? But yeah, she's so good on the doubles court, and has impressed on the singles court from time to time, but just not necessarily at the Grand Slams. I believe Siniakova does have a title on every surface, which not many players do. I mean, Iga doesn't, so it shows how difficult that is to do. But Siniakova needs to be careful here. She's at love 30 on her own serve, and currently has a second serve at this point, and that is long. So Keys has got a big chance now, 3 break points, and really putting pressure on the Siniakova serve now. I mean, could argue that Siniakova's putting pressure on her own serve really with double faults, and it's now a second serve, so pressure really on the Czech player. Serve was in, but they're going back and forth. Both playing it quite. That was close to the line, and Keys takes the break. Yeah, so a break to love there from Madison Keys, and she's got the early advantage. I was looking at the head-to-head before the match. I mean, it's only their second meeting, with Keys winning that only previous at Roland Garros, so not really too much to go off in that regard. But yeah, it's definitely Keys getting the early advantage, and it doesn't seem to be too much bothering her in the way of the leg. But obviously, it's more probably as the match goes on. I mean, Siniakova is a fighter, so if Keys want to get this done probably as quick as possible, really start to work her way into this tournament. I don't quite know what path she's on. I think she could be on to play Sabalenka at some point in the draw, maybe fourth round, I forget, but I think it's that sort of section.
Thanks for tuning into this watch along. While there's a break in play, here's a reminder to hit the like button, subscribe and click that notification bell. Your support helps to keep the channel going. While we're here, you can now become a member to enjoy perks including badges for the live chat, but also bonus material such as interviews with top players from both ATP and WTA tours. The membership link is pinned in the live chat. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. So whether it be serves or volleys, forehands or backhands, serve bots or drop shots, we've got you covered. Whether that be via our website, talking-tennis.com, where you can read features and interviews from our top writers. Or if you prefer us in audio form, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Amazon or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts from. Remember, we offer you wall-to-wall coverage via our regular watch-alongs, magazine shows such as Nick's WTA Weekly or Damien and Mario's ATP version. Plus, we deliver top content from people on the ground, actually at the tournaments, so you get even nearer to the action. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
I'm back, everyone. Yeah, a bit of a technical difficulty, but in the time that I've been gone, Keys has held serve very comfortably and is now 4-2 up in this first set. And just as I was mentioning, I don't know if anyone actually heard it because I could have been disconnected, but my joint has beaten Laura Siegmund, a friend of the show. So a surprising result there from the qualifier. Yeah, back to the match we're focusing on today. Siniakova taking the point there after a short ball from Keys. But yeah, I mean, it's so fun. The start of a Grand Slam, so much is going on. It's hard to keep up, really, but it's what makes the sport so good. I think part of me actually prefers the start of a major compared to further down the line when it gets a bit sparse in terms of matches. I think probably, especially as a Brit as well, it's rare that these days that we have people going deep. So Yeah, our producer just pointing out a very interesting second round match in the men's singles draw as both Matteo Berrettini and Taylor Fritz won today. They'll be facing in the second round. I mean, that could be. I think Taylor Fritz has to be the favourite, but Berrettini has been in decent form in the last couple of months. So yeah, it's going to be no walk in the park for Fritz. Siniaková 40-15 on second serve, looking to win a game. Yeah, so that's a good forehand from Siniaková to take the game and keep herself within touching distance at 4-3, but Keys still does have that all-important break advantage. Yeah, just going through some of the results of today if anyone's interested. So you've got Karbaez Baena beating Britt Janczynski in 5 sets. Janczynski came back from 2 sets down but couldn't take the 5th. Mitchell Kruger beating Hugo Grenier. Ugo Humbert beating Thiago Montero. Zverev beating Marta. Bautista Agut beating Nardi. Shang beating Bublik in 5 sets. Bublik being the first seed to go in the men's draw today. Stricker losing in 4 to Comersana. Shelton beating Dominic Thiem's last Grand Slam match. Berrettini beating Ramos Vinolas. Rude beating Jalketi Bu. Montreal champion Popperin beating Sunwoo Kwon. Rublev beating Ziboch Filch. And Fritz beating Ugo Carabelli. The rest of the matches today are currently ongoing in the men's draw. In the women's draw, some of the results so far today, you've got Kateřina beating Jacqueline Christian, Yola Niemeyer beating Diana Yastremska, which is a surprise. Yastremska obviously a seed, so it's a good result for Yola Niemeyer, the former Wimbledon quarter-finalist. Erika Andreeva beating Yu Wan, Svitolina coming back to beat Maria Kala, Vekic beating Kimberly Birrell. Yeah, unfortunately, Yafan Wang. Not unfortunately for Yafan Wang, but Yafan Wang in the first set against Sakkari before Sakkari was forced to retire with a shoulder problem. Qinwen Zheng coming back to beat Anisimova. Parry beating Wang Jiyu. Minen beating Magdalena Freck. Kalinina beating Dodan. Dossa beating Golubic and Maria in Solana Sierra. Goff, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about Goff, but she brushed past Varvara Gracheva, who can be tricky, and Maya Joint, the qualifier, beating Laura Siegmund. So that's getting you up to speed with all the results so far today as we tune back into this match between Madison Keys and Kateřina Siniaková at 4-3, 15 all. Siniaková getting the return back in there, but forehand from the Czech player goes into the net, and Keys just keep ticking things along here. I mean, I wouldn't say it's been outstanding for the American, but it's been enough. I don't think Siniakova's quite found her rhythm yet, so Keys is using her serve and her power to overwhelm the former Siniakova in this match so far. Ashley going really big on Maya Joint, giving her praise, but just as I talk about Keys' serve, she hits a double fault, and it's her second of the match. I mean, Keys hit 2, but Siniakova has hit 5 so far. So it's not been best for either player in terms of keeping a serve in. It's a lot of double faults, given it's only the 8th service game in this match. That's a nice forehand there from Madison Keys. And she's 40-30 up with a game point to put herself within 1 game away of taking this first set. And that, yeah, it's a long return from Siniakova. She's really not found her rhythm so far. It'd be interesting to see the unforced error stats. If I could have a quick look now. Now Siniakova's got to serve to stay in this first set. It's been a quick set. Not very long rallies. It feels like a lot of errors. Yeah, I mean, in 8 games, Siniakova's hit 11 and forced errors, and Keys has actually hit 9. But the difference is that Keys has hit 8 winners compared to Siniakova's 3. That's a nice point there from Siniakova. Yeah, on the screen you can see that match being previewed. We've seen Berrettini and Fritz, so it's going to be very exciting. And with obviously Berrettini's ranking falling due to injury over the last year, he's not seeded. So it's kind of not a nice draw for him, but it's also not a nice draw for Taylor Fritz as the number 1 American at his home slam. And there's another double fault there for Siniakova. I think the 6th now in her 5th service game. Yeah, it's not been good. An unforced error there from Keys. I mean, yeah, I was looking forward to this match, and there's still obviously a lot of time, but it's been messy so far, is how I describe it. It's a much better serve there from Siniakova. Keys couldn't get it back into play, and she's now at 40-15. Nerland causing a bit of mischief in the chat as always, but that's what we love to see. Siniakova getting the hold there, and yeah, so Keys does still have to serve this first set out, but Siniakova really needs to rein those errors in, perhaps bring in the margins, and because Keys hasn't been short of errors herself, so yes, you did actually. You did say 6-4, so you could be onto something there. Harriet Dart, I'm not sure. And I could have a look at the order of play. There's so much going on, it's really easy to lose track. See Harriet Dart, British player, so there's a bit of interest, particularly from my part, and I think a lot of people perhaps watching this. Harriet Dart, I'm not sure what court she's on. Oh, here she was, court 16. She's 3rd on. Oh, so she's after the Muller and Walton match, if anyone's interested in that one. Nerland not really picking up Kudermetova there, but Kudermetova has taken the first set against Mertens, which, to be honest, given Kudermetova's recent record, especially at Grand Slams, is not bad going. Keys tries to serve this first set, and that was a good start, a serve that could not be returned from Siniakova. I mean, that was a wild return from Siniakova, but I think a lot of it had to do with the power of Madison Keys' serve. She goes 30-love up, just the serves that she needs in this first set. Serve was returned that time, but Keys is at the net and she puts it away for 40-love. 3 set points, and this has been probably, at least if not the best, one of the best service games she's played in this match so far. So yeah, positive signs that she's feeling good. Actually saying that he thinks that Keys is better than Pegula. I think Pegula is probably better at the moment, but I think perhaps just so I was bigging up Keys, just hit a double fault, but she's still got 2 more set point opportunities. I think Keys' peak is probably higher than Pegula, but I think I'd back Pegula at the moment. Yeah, Pegula is more solid, I would say. Obviously, Pegula is also coming into this tournament with more form, as Keys takes the first set. Not the prettiest set in the world, but she got the job done, and it was not a bad hold at the end, despite there being another double fault, but it was generally pretty solid. Yeah, Keys has made a Grand Slam final, very close to making a second one last year, but Pegula's having a bit of a hurdle getting past the quarterfinals at Grand Slams. But I do think, just in my predictions, I've actually got Pegula making the final. Could be a bold claim, but I think she's one of the form players coming into this tournament. But I do have Sabalenka taking the title. I think that's probably quite a lot of people's prediction. So yeah, producer's asking if I had Pegula beating Iga. Well, I went even bolder than that. I think I had Iga losing to Samsonova. This is the thing with Iga. I could see Swiatek winning the whole thing because she's good enough, but I just don't have that much trust in her at the moment. I don't have that much trust in Swiatek. I don't have that much trust in Rybakina, and I kind of went with the players I trust more. And I think at the moment I don't have that much trust in Goff either, despite her really good victory today. And I trust Pegula and Sabalenka the most, and I think that was probably my thinking going into my predictions. But at the same time, Iga reaching the final and winning this tournament is completely realistic. Especially as she's a former champion in New York. Ashley's going big on Pegula, saying that he thinks she'll be beaten first round. Who is Pegula's first round opponent? If anyone could. I mean, yeah, no, I mean, predictions are predictions. I mean, I have known for getting quite a lot of predictions wrong. Yeah, I'll be honest. Actually, I can't see Pegula losing to Shelby Rogers. It's Shelby Rogers' final tournament. And I think she's struggling with injury. So yeah, I think Pegula should comfortably come through that. Ashley said Pegula's getting too much hype, and I don't know if she's getting too much hype, but it will be interesting to see how she handles any hype, because it doesn't work for everyone. And some people like Goff really thrived with that hype last year, really used it to help her, but it's whether Jessica Pegula will be able to use it in the same way. Ashley having Shelby Rogers going out in a blaze of glory. I mean, Rogers did beat the world number one Ash Barty a few years ago and ended up losing to Raducanu. So she has had success at this tournament, but I think at this stage, in terms of her injury and her career, being in a final tournament, I think it's going to be a challenge. 15-all in this first game of the second set. I mean, Siniakova really needs a hold here. I think she needs to keep it ticking on the scoreboard and put more pressure on Keys' serve. She did have that one break point. Oh no, did she have a break point opportunity in the first set? I forget. I'm not sure she did actually. But yeah, she needs to start putting more pressure on Keys' serve. Yeah, she didn't have any breakpoint chances in the first set, as far as I'm aware. But it's about keeping these. That's a wild ball toss, but actually the serve was very good. Siniakova does have quite a unique service motion, but it's won her numerous Grand Slam titles on the doubles court. I'm not sure I agree with that. Actually, on the Keys not feeling pressure, I think I'm not sure she feels any pressure in terms of winning the title this year, but I think in matches she's been seen to feel pressure. Previously, I think the match at Sabalenka last year, was kind of an example of that. Some of that obviously was Sabalenka just being a fantastic player, but yeah, I think he does feel pressure. But Keys has so much natural talent. Yeah, I mean, Novak is probably one of the players who thrives off pressure, and I think that's what makes him one of the, if not the best player of all time. And I think that's just where you kind of define the good players and the great players from the legends. Yeah, I think Carlos Alcaraz thrives on pressure as well. Nice forehand there from Siniaková in a somewhat pressure moment at deuce as she now goes to advantage. Yeah, I mean, a lot of Pegula's quarterfinals have been against some decent players. Nerland, I think the one that stands out where maybe it went away was Wimbledon last year, where she was heavily up against Vondrousova, and Vondrousova came back and obviously did when it go on to win the title. But yeah, I think that one stung. Obviously, a lot of people drawing comparisons to Pegula and Andrei Rublev, who both have poor Grand Slam quarterfinal records. And does anyone think either of them are going to break their duck this year? Does anyone have Rublev or Pegula going past the quarterfinals? Let's have a look at Jessica Pegula's quarterfinal record. I think Rublev's is worse, but I think Pegula's record is tallying up. We're back at deuce, by the way, in this service game. And it's another double fault from Siniakova. I mean, there's been far too many from her. So Pegula has been in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Grand Slam quarterfinals and lost all of them. She's been in 1 quarterfinal here, the US Open, 3 in Australia, 1 at Roland Garros, and the one I mentioned in Wimbledon. And there you go, Keys takes the break. You just can't be hitting as many double faults as that as Siniakova has. I mean, what are we at now on the double fault count? 8. I mean, there's already been 2 in the first service game. It's too high against a player like Madison Keys, who although is not looking fantastic compared to her top level, is still good enough to take advantage of those. But obviously, Keys needs to keep it ticking herself on her own serve and really consolidate that break. People talk about Raducanu can shock everyone. I mean, yeah, Raducanu's got a tough draw. Kenin in the first round. I mean, obviously, Kenin is not the player that won the Australian Open, but does tend to show up for the big matches. But yeah, I think Raducanu, I would back her to beat Kenin. Then it's probably going to be Pegula for Raducanu. Obviously, she beat her on grass earlier this year, but Pegula's coming in with the more matches. I mean, you could argue that Emma has got the more pretty fresher coming into the tournament. But yeah, I think a lot of people are interested to see that match. It's definitely not going to be plain sailing. Yeah, I think Ashley and Nerlon are both backing Emma to beat Pegula, despite Pegula winning Toronto and making the final in Cincinnati. So it's interesting. I think that's what makes Grand Slams so interesting, is that there's so many players. I think especially on the women's side, there's a lot of depth, and yeah, it just makes the start of Grand Slam so interesting because like seeds go, big names go, and you have really interesting draws. I mean, on the women's side, you've got Ostapenko, Osaka, Raducanu, Kenin, Paulini, Andreescu, Anisimova, Zheng we had today. I mean, these could be Grand Slam quarterfinals and they're in the first round. It's just it makes it so exciting. Actually, talking about Emma's game can trouble anyone. I mean, yeah, I agree. Emma has the game to challenge probably 90% of this draw. I think Sabalenka would probably, and Iga would probably be the only ones that I think would be too much at their peak. But yeah. I think a lot of people will probably, obviously Emma's not a seed, so a lot of the seeds are probably thinking, please avoid me in the first round, and she got Kenin. But Siniakova does actually have a break back point here. Keys goes cross court again. Now Keys coming towards the net, and Siniakova goes wide of the tram line, so we're back at juice. And this is what we're talking about. I mean, Siniakova has not had many break points in this match. I think, is that her second? No, it's her first. It's Siniakova's first break point of the match. So yeah, they've been few and far between. Another big serve there from Madison Keys. It's one of her biggest weapons. So this match on Louis Armstrong, second biggest court at Flushing Meadows at the US Open. I believe this is the third day match, and then they'll have a break before the night session. And I forget who is on the night session on this court tonight. I'll have a look. But Keys has not held just yet, going long there to go back to juice. So there's still hope for Siniakova. Yeah, the night session tonight on Louis Armstrong, we've got Tiafoe against Kovacevic and Sabalenka against Priscilla Hon. I mean, I think Tiafoe and Sabalenka are the big favourites in those matches, but so Tiafoe is very, very big at the US Open. He had that run a couple of years ago to the semi-finals. Sabalenka, a finalist here last year. Probably the favourite for the title, I would say, going off the back of the Cincinnati title. And yes, as people mentioned in the chat, the night session tonight on Arthur Ashe, you've got former champion Sloane Stephens against Clara Burrell, which I think a lot of people were surprised about Stephens being on the night session. And then you've got Novak Djokovic against Radu Albot. See Novak Djokovic, the defending champion. Siniakova got a break point and takes the break point. Big forehand down the line there. And we're back on level terms at 1-1. Yeah, so we'll be talking about the errors, but that is a nice forehand from Siniakova. Actually thinking that Sloane Stephens could get beaten 3 sets against Clara Burrell today. Yeah, Sloane Stephens is a tricky one to predict. I mean, she's nowhere near the player that she was when she won the title here, I believe. Was it 7 years ago? Was it 2017? Yeah, and Clara Burrell can produce some decent results as long as you don't tell her the draw beforehand. And Siniakova now will be looking to hold, but that is unlikely when Keys is hitting forehands like that. I mean, that is the power that Keys has, and we're starting to see more winners now from both of them. Yeah, 11 winners for Keys, 6 for Siniakova. Just said talking about the more winners. Keys hits an unforced error there. I mean, it just she looks as frustrated as I felt watching it. Keys is 29. can't remember who asked that. Ashley. Yep, 29 Madison keys. Reached the final when she played Sloane Stephens in that final, lost quite comfortably, but I mean, it's particularly, at least on the lower levels, it's quite a sparse crowd so far. There's still plenty of people there, but still quite a few empty seats. But I think it will definitely stack out more for the night session. I think Tiafoe will have a good crowd. Very popular in New York. Actually, not thinking that Pagula will ever win a Grand Slam. I mean, it's definitely possible. There's definitely players I think that are better than her, but I think she's one of those players that you'd back to reach a certain point in a Grand Slam, and if the draw starts to open up, then it's definitely possible. I mean, there's another double fault there for Siniakova, and Keys has got a chance for a break. Yeah, I mean, I think actually she will have. Pagula will definitely have some scar tissue from the quarterfinal defeats we've been talking about at Grand Slams. I think she just needs that one breakthrough, and then it's kind of gone then, isn't it? Keys in the corner, Siniakova going cross court. Keys goes down the line. I mean, that's sort of a lovely backhand there from Keys, and it's been all break so far in this second set at 2-1 to Keys, and it'll be interesting now to see if anyone can get the hold. Yeah, I think the quarterfinal defeat that Pagula would particularly have a lot of scar tissue from is the one against Vondrousova. I think she was 5-1 up in the third set and lost. Yeah, it's rough. But whether she'll be thinking about that when at a different tournament, I don't know. But her draw isn't easy. I mean, I think her first round should be pretty comfortable against Shelby Rogers. Like I said, that it could be Raducanu or Kenin, that it could be Katie Bolter. Yeah, and I'm not sure after that where we go, but it's not going to be plain sailing at all. I mean, it's a Grand Slam, so it's never going to be. Yeah, Rublev has got a lot of scars, and so we've seen with Rublev this year how much he gets inside his own head and showing his frustration on court. Let's just have a quick look around the ground, see if there's any interesting scores or more results. Martinez and forgive me if I butchered this, Kaznikowski. A qualifier, Polish qualifier. We're in a fifth set. Fuchsovic and Lehetka. Lehetka's 2-1 up, coming from a set down. Opelka, I mean, that's a surprise. Opelka won the second set against Lorenzo Musetti 6-1. Musetti hasn't had a good form of late, but yeah, Opelka really dismantling him in that second set, really. Nishioka and Kecmanovic were set piece. Echeverry is about to serve for the second for a 2-love lead against Mpechi Perakar. And Schwartzman is 4-love up in the tiebreak against Gael Monfils. Obviously, Schwartzman coming through qualifying. A nice story there. What will be it will definitely be his final US Open. Is he retiring in Buenos Aires next year? Adam Walton has set a breakup over Alexander Muller. Dimitrov is 5-3 up in the first set. Shevchenko an early breakup. The women's draw, you've got Stearns has beaten Sorenko in straight sets. Korpach and Uchijima are a set piece. Kudermetova's set up on Mertens. Townsend's a set up on Trevisan, but Trevisan's 5-3 up in the second. And then we go back to our match here, where Keys it's been no hold so far in the second set, but Keys has currently got 3 chances at 40-love. 2-1, 40-love. So this could be the chance to really start making a bit of clear space between herself and Siniakova. Second serve there, yeah, and Siniakova goes straight into the net. Yeah, it's been a bit of a story of the day from Siniakova. And now the pressure is really on. I mean, she hasn't held serve so far in this set in her 2 service games, and if she doesn't hold serve now, I think it might be a long way back. I mean, obviously Siniakova has got the doubles draw, but I think she'd have been hoping for a lot more from herself in this match. That's no problem, actually. It's been nice. It's rare for me to be hosting on my own, but you've all kept me company in the chat, and it's been good fun. I mean, who knows? This match still might have a long way to go. Siniakova, if she hits forehands like she just did there, then we don't know. Still only at 1 break. What matches do I have? I mean, I assume you mean what matches will I be covering? I don't know, but I'm planning to be on here a few times this week, I believe. My producer, picking me up there, so I appreciate that. Yeah, actually, she does need to stop the double faults. I mean, it's been the big downfall, really. I mean, Keys hit a lot of double faults. Well, not towards the start of the match. There was a few double faults, but she's slowed them down, and Siniakova hasn't really slowed down. Thanks, Ashley. I appreciate that. Yeah, everyone drop a like if that'd be a bit appreciated. But I just appreciate you being here and watching. 10th double fault for Siniakova in this match. 15-30. Yeah, an averted ball toss, and I wonder if the missed serves have really got into the head of Siniakova. I mean, she's not far after outside the seeded spots, but she's not really shown her ranking in this match. Comes to the net, and maybe, yeah, that is showing a lack of confidence. I mean, she's probably, I don't know what her ranking is, but it's very high, but probably the best doubles player in the world alongside Chasey Way. And that volley was very poor, and it's just shown that she's not feeling it today at all. I mean, she looks very frustrated with herself, as Keys has 2 break points for a double break, and really it would feel like the match. But then there's a winner there from Siniakova, a backhand, but she doesn't look particularly pleased with it because there must be a lot of frustration that knowing that that's in her locker, but it hasn't been shown regularly enough, and the errors have really been quite frequent. But we are back at juice. So she's fended off those 2 break points, but there's still 2 more points to win to hold this game. There's a strong return from Keys. Siniakova just get it back, but that's a beautiful down the line backhand from Madison Keys. I mean, as much as I've gone on about Siniakova perhaps been too heavy on the arrows and the double faults, there's not a lot she can do when Keys hits shots like that. You kind of just have to applaud and just say too good. There's another break point for Madison Keys. Siniakova gets the first serve in. I mean, Keys, it's unsurprising that Keys went for another down the line backhand, but that one was just wide, and we're at juice. So Siniakova just about holding on, but it feels a bit like a fingernail that she's holding on by. But another first serve in. She's coming towards the net again, but that's a nice passing shot. I mean, that backhand has been very impressive for Keys in the second set. And She's got herself, I believe, a 1, 2, 3, 4th break point in this game, but will she take it? And the answer is no. Keys went for the down the line forehand, but it goes into the net. And you've got to think, if Siniakova does hold on to this, there will be probably going on in the mind of Keys about the missed opportunities to go double break up, and will that cause Siniakova to get back into it? She has now forged a game point for herself, first of this game for Siniakova, with a nice 1-2 combo. Nice first serve, but a good return from Keys. But Siniakova just get it back in play, but that forehand is into the net. And we are back at Juice. Ashley saying that Gael Monfils lost the first set to Schwartzman. I saw that Schwartzman was up in the tiebreak. So yeah, Schwartzman really kind of going for a last hurrah at the US Open as a former quarter-finalist. Is that out from Siniakova? Yes, it is, and she shakes her head. As Keys gets another break point. I mean, this is crucial, really. It'd be a double break for Keys at 4-1, and it would feel like too much for Siniakova to bridge back that gap. But will she take it? First serve in from... Oh no, it was out. And it's a forehand winner there from Keys. Swatted away the second serve, and it's 4-1 with a double break to the American. I think as much as maybe I've been a bit negative on perhaps Siniakova's enforced errors and double faults, it's been positive from a Keys perspective. I mean, her last 2 matches have both come with retirements due to a leg problem, but despite the strapping, she seemed not too hampered. I mean, the points have been fairly short, and that would have played into her hands, but it's been fairly positive. Actually asking how many break points. I mean, do you mean in that game or the match? In the match, Keys has had 10 and she wouldn't taken 6 out of her 10, and Siniakova's only had 2 chances and taken that 1. In that game, I believe there was 1, 2, 3, 5 in total, with Keys taking it on the 5th, as we are at the change of ends. Obviously, you mentioned that Schwartzman took the first set against Monfils 7-2 in the tiebreak. Yeah, and Keys, especially in the second set, Keys has played well. I think the first set was a bit more error-strewn from both, but Keys has reined it in a bit and shown those winners and the power that in the second set. And really, the double faults have been minimal from the American, especially compared to Siniakova. And a lovely forehand there from Keys, which Siniakova can't get back in play. Big serve from Keys, and it goes wide. Yeah, I think Keys has really found a rhythm now, and it's not helpful for Siniakova because there seems like there's no way back. And when you're serving like that, there's not a lot you can do. That one just going long, but it's still a second serve. Second serve goes in. Siniakova returns it. Backhand down the line from Siniakova. And now she goes for the drop shot. And yeah, it sums up Siniakova's day. Goes into the net. And it's 40-love Keys. And it does feel like we are approaching the end of this match. which is a shame. I think a lot of people were expecting, including myself, were expecting a lot more from this match. And yeah, a nice 1-2 there from Keys, and it's 5-1. She's only one game away from the second round. Yeah, I actually had Siniakova winning this match, just based off Keys' injury problems as of late. But like I said, she does seem okay. She chose to skip Cincinnati, and maybe that was what she needed to really help heal. I mean, I would be interested to see if maybe more challenge in her next matches, whether the leg would be more exposed in terms of its limitations. But it seems fairly comfortable in this match. That's more like it from Siniakova coming to the net and showing her doubles prowess. Backhand's too strong from Keys, and we're at 15 all. Despite the scoreboard saying 30 love on my stream, I'm pretty sure that's the 15 all. And we're now at 15-30 with Siniakova going into the net, and the scoreboard has corrected itself. But Keys does go wide there. So we're at 30 all. Still only 2 points away from her first round victory here, which does really feel inevitable at this point. Yeah, actually very impressed with Keys. I mean, she does seem to kind of go under the radar a lot of these tournaments, but when her top form is so difficult to beat, and that's another double fault from Siniakova to gift Keys a match point. We should take it on the first opportunity. Yeah, and Keys gets the return too strong and takes the victory in just over an hour on Louis Armstrong. Yeah, not a performance to be particularly looking back on. I don't think Siniakova will be watching this match many more times. But yeah, it's positive to see from Keys. It's positive to see her completing a match. Pretty strong. I mean, some of the backhands down the line she was hitting in that match were lovely. And I think now she goes on to play the qualifier, Maya Joint. I believe that's how you say her name. Beat Laura Siegmund in the first round. So obviously coming into the match with Keys off the back of 4 wins, considering she came through qualifying. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I mean, Keys will be the overwhelming favourite, just given her pedigree and experience. I'm not quite sure how old Joint is. I believe she's a young Australian talent. I first heard of her name in the Australian swing early this year. Yeah, just 18, so obviously a very talented young player. But yeah, I mean, poor from Siniakova, but she, like I said, she does still have doubles with Taylor Townsend, and I think they've definitely got to be one of the favourites for the title coming off the back of Wimbledon. Siniakova also won Roland Garros with Coco Gauff. So yeah, doubles is really where she comes into her own, but it was a poor performance on the singles court today. But Key's looking pleased in her interview. I mean, I don't know if anyone else has got any questions before we bring this live stream to an end. I believe you've now got 15 minutes of nothing on Louis Armstrong before the night sessions begin on both Louis Armstrong and what do you call it, Arthur Ashe Stadium. Yes, our producer, I did have Madison Keys losing in the first round, so that's. And I think I had Siniakova going to about the fourth round, so that's come back to bite me. I should really, yeah, it's not come back to bite me. I think he's really watching her in this match. I think you've got to have Keys at least going. I mean, you'd expect her to get past joint. I haven't really watched a lot of joint. Actually, very big on joint. Did Madison win this match, or did Siniakova lose it? I mean, I think I think Siniakova definitely played a big part in it, unforced errors wise, but Keys was very strong in that second set in particular. But yeah, I think I would say Siniakova probably played a bigger part in terms of her errors. If Keys was to reach the third round, it would probably be either you're looking at either Tomjanovic, Anley, Kudermetova, or Mertens. Again, I think Keys, if she's feeling good, would be the favourite to get through that, and then she'd play Sabalenka possibly, which would be perhaps a bit scarring from last year, the semi-final where she played Sabalenka and was up but ended up losing it. But also, Sabalenka would not much. The connection just went a bit. Yeah, and as our producer mentioned, similar at Wimbledon this year, really up in the match against Paolini before injury. The injury I mentioned seemed to hamper her, and Paolini fought back and went on to reach the final. So I hope that Keys, whatever happens in this tournament, completes it on her own terms in terms of no injury hampering her, and just either goes on to win the title. I mean, that would be quite something, or loses just because her opponent was better than her. That's the main thing. But yeah, always a threat, particularly on US hard courts. It'll be interesting to see. Very interesting to see. I'm not sure who else we've got on stream either now or coming up today. If we want to just give them a quick shout out. If anything you want to look out later, yeah, we've got obviously Djokovic and Albot and Tiafoe and Kovacevic in the night session. I'm not sure who is covering them, but I'm sure our producer will give me a heads up before I head off after this quite quick match. Yeah, so do tune in for Djokovic and Albot. I believe Tiafoe Kovacevic on first. Yeah, Vanch and Damien for Tiafoe. And so Vanch and Damien for Tiafoe on first, then Louis covering Novak Djokovic's first match in his title defense. So yeah, I don't know why I said Louis Armstrong, Tiafoe's, and Matthew is covering Djokovic. Yeah, my bad. Obviously, Djokovic will be on Arthur Ashe. Yeah, I'm not sure Louis Armstrong would be covering it. I think that's unlikely. Yeah, very, very impressive. Yeah. Krambugi coming just before the stream comes to an end. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be lots of Monfils talk. Monfils is currently he's a breakup in the second after losing the first. But early days in that second set against Schwartzman. Yeah, cheers everyone. Thanks for joining. I hope you enjoy the rest of today's US Open play, and I'm sure I'll catch you later in the tournament, if not very soon. But for the time being, keep talking tennis.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready? Play.
Quick refresh on my top 10. Number 10, Andre Rublev. Number 9, Tommy Paul. Number 8, Francis Tiafoe. Number 7, Ben Shelton. Number 6, Taylor Fritz. Number 5, Daniel Medvedev. Number 4, Alexander Zverev. Number 3, Novak Djokovic. Number 2, Jannik Sinner. And number 1, Carlos Alcaraz. Do let me know your thoughts on my power rankings. Get in those comments below. And tell me whether you agree or disagree. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Number 11, Marta Kostyuk. Number 10, Paula Badosa. Number 9, Barbora Krejcikova. Number 8, Jasmine Paolini. Number 7, Elena Rybakina. Number 6, Danielle Collins. Number 5, Zhang Qinwen. Number 4, Coco Gauff. Number 3, Jessica Pegula. Number 2, Iga Świątek. And number 1, for the first time in my power rankings history, Aryna Sabalenka.